Over the last 4 years, I've studied over 100 different coaching programs that have scaled past $1 million, and what I've found is shocking. And most coaches who are stuck between $50,000 and $100,000 a year are making the same critical mistakes that are keeping them in this range. That's why in this video, I'm going to be revealing the exact 3 levers that separate 6-figure coaches from 7-figure operators, so you can absorb 4 years of research in just a few minutes. Let's get into it. Now, the first difference I've noticed between coaches that are stuck at $50,000 and the ones breaking just past $1 million, the coaches stuck at $50,000 see content as like an expense. But the 7-figure coaches, they see content as their entire sales team working for them 24/7. The reason is because content, specifically YouTube videos, has this very unique thing where people can come and view those videos years and years after you've posted them. Meaning, at any point in time, at any point in the world, they can watch a video that you've posted 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years ago and feel the same exact way as somebody who might have watched it the second you posted that video. Now, it's very common that most coaches think that paid ads are the only way to scale, and honestly, they'll burn thousands of dollars on meta ads and YouTube ads without a proven organic funnel first. Now, what you have to understand is organic traffic is going to be the easiest traffic to convert. And by throwing in paid ads, you're essentially door knocking, trying to sell a product that you yourself don't even know is valuable yet. The reason this is so powerful is because organic traffic creates unlimited potential. It not only brings in buyers, it brings in talent, it brings in partnership, it brings in inbound opportunities that you frankly wouldn't be able to attract with ads. When people see you on an ad, they already have their guard up because they know you're trying to sell them a service or a product. But when they see your content, they can choose to like you, they can choose to follow you and engage with you. And those people are slowly indoctrinated into your whole entire ecosystem until they actually choose to either buy from you or even work with you. That is one of the biggest things that you cannot get from paid ads. You see, it's honestly kind of sad because I've seen people that have spent tens of millions of dollars on paid ads and yet no one knows their name. But if they would have spent those tens of million dollars on content instead, I guarantee you that their leverage and relevancy would have gone much farther than it already has. And the reason is because when a buyer sees an ad, they already have their guard up. They know that you're trying to sell them a service or a product. But when they see your content, they don't feel like that. They feel like they're getting entertained, motivated, or educated. And because of that, they choose to follow you and they choose to engage with your content. And when they choose to do those things, they can also choose to buy from you. And so that sales process becomes a lot easier because over a long period of time, they've been choosing to hear more from you and be bought into your ecosystem, as opposed to paid traffic where you have to do a lot more persuading in less than half of the time. And if organic hasn't worked for you in the past, no, it's not because organic is broken. It's because you didn't have the right strategy to begin with. Organic content and paid ads require completely different approaches, but yet most coaches think of content to be not as important as paid ads. And this is why you see coaches with 50,000 followers yet making $30,000 a year, and other coaches with 10,000 followers making over $500,000. Trust me, it is not about the size of your audience like everyone else thinks. It is about how dialed your content system truly is. So this is exactly what you're going to do. So you're going to pick 2 content vehicles. One is going to be short form, mostly for testing, and then the other one is going to be long form, where you get all the proven ideas from your short form and make a long form video. It allows you to be in front of your audience a lot longer and create more trust. Mind you, the name of the game here is familiarity. Now, familiarity in human nature has always been what has attracted us to like someone, trust someone, and buy from someone. If you see someone one time, your guard is going to be a lot higher. You're going to have more resistance to buy from that person. The more you get to know that person, the more you see that person around, the more familiar he becomes in the back of your mind. When they do become familiar, you start to be okay with the idea of buying from that person. And so what we're trying to do here is use short form for as much familiarity as we can possibly have, while also finding ideas that our audience resonates with. And then afterwards, we're going to take that and go onto YouTube, where people will invest an hour to 2 hours, where they're more willing to take out a notebook and actually take notes. They're in a different mental state than somebody who's on short form, most likely looking to just take a break. So always remember YouTube long form for depth and trust, and Instagram or TikTok for reach and impressions. Now, mind you, your success metric shouldn't just be how many views you got on one video. It should also be how flat your retention curve can get. And at the same time, what is your click-through rate? This is the amount of people that have seen your video and actually chosen to click on your video. Now, write this down. If viewers watch 60% or more of your video and 8% or more click on your call to action, you have a winning format. And once you find that format, please repeat it relentlessly. Here's the thing. Traffic alone does not make you rich. You need to understand how to actually monetize it the right way, which brings me to my second lever. Info is both both a cash flow engine and a lead generation tool. Now, to understand this, let me ask you something. What happens when you can't take on any more clients? Most coaches think their program is the finish line, and they believe that they'll just keep scaling it, maybe sell it one day and retire off the exit. But here's exactly what happens when you think this way. I've seen multiple coaching programs get destroyed over and over again because of this one simple thing. They believe their coaching program is going to scale and that they're this wonderful unicorn that is different from every other info business out there. And what they find themselves doing is spending more on ads while the cost to acquire a customer becomes more expensive. Over a couple of years, they'll watch their business become a very profitable business to something where they're just breaking even. Now they have to rely on their back-end products to even make some money. And now you have this massive overhead that you need to just continue to maintain month after month, selling more, trying to sell more, but also losing a lot of money in the process. And people don't realize that this is the actual game that they're playing until it's too late. You see, coaching businesses are hard to scale beyond $1 million to $2 million because they're time dependent. You can't sell a coaching business for a big multiple. Buyers want assets, not your personal brand. Most people forget to understand is that with a coaching business, they're not just buying the business. What buyers look for when they're actually acquiring businesses is something that can run on autopilot. They just want extra streams of income. But with a coaching business, if you sell it to the other person, yet you're out of that business, then the whole entire business crumbles because the only reason why people come to that business is for you. They want access to you. They want access to your team. There is a system in place where they can get results with or without you. And so they start to look at wherever you go and just follow you. And this is the biggest misconception with personal brand-led info businesses. But there is a smart way to get around this. The coaches who break through $1 million don't see coaching as the end game, but as a front-end offer. If you want to break past it, you have to reframe what your info product actually is, because most have no back-end offer. So someone who finishes the program, the relationship ends right there. Your coaching program should do two things. Number one, provide you tons of cash flow in the front end, money that you can then reinvest in other businesses and start other ventures or investments. But then at the same time, you're cultivating a massive group of people that you can create other businesses or other services that they might want to buy from. For example, let's say I have a real estate investor community. If I went and started a company like a lending company or like a real estate construction company for these investors, and I then pitched that to that community, they're going to be more likely to buy. And so the biggest problem that new businesses have are acquiring customers, acquiring good customers, and getting feedback before they can actually have a valid offer and sell to the masses. With this community, now you can test different offers to that community and see which one sticks, see which one provides the most value, and what that pricing structure looks like. So what you just have created is basically a group chat with a bunch of people where you can just now sell things to them, and they're going to buy it because they've already gone through the process, they already like and trust you, but most importantly, you know where their interests lie and you know what their goals are. That's how most info businesses should be treated. So keep this in mind. A good info business should generate immediate cash flow. It needs to be front-end profitable, meaning it pays for ad spend, operations, marketing costs, any other costs that might be in the business, but at the same time, it qualifies buyers for high-ticket offers. The people who go through your program, get results, become perfect candidates for your back-end offer, your subscription, your software, your services, your done-for-you offerings, whatever that may be. You have now cultivated this group of people that are more likely to buy from you again. A $3,000 to $5,000 coaching program attracts people who are serious and have budgets. These are the same people who will pay $10,000 to $50,000 for faster solutions later. Your info product becomes a filter. It shows you who has the problem, who has the desire to solve it, and who has the resources to invest in the solution. If you want the full breakdown of how to build this system for your coaching business, I've helped coaches go from $50,000 a year to $300,000 using this model. For example, we've taken a coach that didn't even start with an offer and 8 months later hit their highest month of $1 million a month. So if you're serious about scaling, check out the link in the description and sign up to receive all the systems, processes, insights, all for free. All I ask is that you do me the favor and subscribe to this channel. Now, let me show you the third lever, because even if you nail the content and your offer, this is what separates the coaches who hit $300,000 from the ones who hit $1 million. Apply the more, better, new framework to every part of the business. Out of 100 coaching programs I've studied, here's what the ones making $1 million plus had in common. They didn't constantly reinvent their business, and they didn't chase every new strategy they saw that was working for someone else. Every single business followed the same decision-making framework. It keeps you focused on exactly what needs to happen and what is getting you results. That framework is called more, better, and new. It is the difference between chaotic growth and predictable revenue. So let me explain more, better, new. revenue, this is actually a framework that I learned when I paid $50,000 to a consultant to help me scale my business. Step one of this is more before you change anything. So if you're booking at 10 calls a week at 15% close rate, that's about 1.5 deals closed a week. Instead of trying to optimize the close rate by hiring a new closer or changing up the script, what you can just do is keep the same close rate and just book 20 calls the next week. What that will do is take your deals from 1.5 deals closed a week on average to 3 deals closed a week on average. By doubling the book calls, you're doubling the sales. And you have to evaluate which one is easier to optimize, either book calls or close rate. And if you have to hire a new closer or you have to fix your whole entire sales script, that's going to take a lot more time than just booking more calls. Because with the calls, you just have to post more content or spend more on ads. And that's simple. And then you'll go from 10 book calls to 20 book calls, doubling your whole entire output. If your YouTube videos are getting 5,000 views, don't just change the format, just post more. If you're getting already 5,000, just post double, you'll get 10,000. Volume is the fastest way to scale when you already have something working. Now, that leads me to step 2. Once you've actually maxed out your volume, improve the system. Better headlines, better hooks, better sales scripts, better onboarding. This is exactly where you optimize conversion rates, retention curves, and upsell sequences. But keep in mind, you can go really far by not having to optimize anything. And for most people who don't have a dialed in sales process, especially at the 10 to 50K range, this is just an easy lift that they can do. If they understand that their average video gets 5,000 views or even 3,000 views, so if I post 4x the amount of videos with a guaranteed 3,000 views on average, I'm just going to book more calls. It's simple as that. Now, it gets a little bit more complex when you actually go into step 2, which is where you're actually going to dial in every single process. And it's a lot more tedious because you might not be good at every single part of that business. You might not understand how to optimize your sales script or what actually changes a retention curve or what helps click-through rates. You might not be a good marketer yet. And so this is exactly why you should focus on volume before anything. But when you actually hit a cap, you go to the second part, which in my opinion, I've seen the most growth from this part, because now you're taking all your maxed out volume and you're squeezing it by 10 to 20%. And that 10 to 20%, trust me, can go a very long way. You're doing the same process, spending the same money on acquisition, but now making double or triple the amount of money on the back end. So it becomes a lot more profitable and a lot more fun. So at the point where you've optimized and you're already working at max capacity, this is honestly the point where life is very, very easy. You're making a ton of money. Everything is great. And most people don't even have to get to step 3, but step 3 is new. Only introduce something new after you exhausted more and better. And when you introduce something new, test it alongside what is working. Don't just replace it. And to better explain this, we actually went through a similar issue in our business. And this was right when we hit $1 million a month. So we were on top of the world. We've broken every single record. We beat our last month by double. And we were in a really good trajectory. So at this point, we had the brilliant idea of switching up everything. We brought on an agency. We added a ton of new sales team members, went from organic traffic to all paid traffic, and said, okay, well, let's see how this works. Lo and behold, the next month, we almost cut our business in half and we started to lose momentum and things didn't fit anymore and they weren't really making sense. And it was because we took something that was already working and completely neglected it and said, let's just focus on this new thing and see if that will get us a better outcome. And this is a very brutal mistake because now you're starting from square one. So you have to try new marketing, new messaging, new sales process, new sales teams, sales scripts, everything to find out if it may or may not work. And that honestly just creates a lot of headache and a big possibility that things aren't going to work out. What we should have done is look at exactly what got us here and ask the question, can we do more of this? And if we can't, how can we make minor tweaks in the business that will create a little bit of a lift, and slowly we'll continue to grow and grow as more constraints present themselves and we solve that. Big mistake. It's cost me close to $4 million in missed out revenue that we should have collected. We know that now we'll never make that mistake ever again. So if you're stuck right now, this framework is exactly how you can break through. Here's what you need to start doing today. Everyone sit down and ask yourself these 3 questions. Question 1, what's currently working in my business that I can do more of? Is that more calls, more outreach, or more content? And question 2, what is working in the business that I can make better? Probably better scripts, better close rate, better retention. And question 3, what should I test that's new? Honestly, only ask this if you're done answering the first 2 questions and you have a clear game plan. And out of the coaching programs I've worked with, these are the 3 levers that have actually helped businesses scale to $1 million. So if you're a coach between $50,000 to $100,000 and are looking to scale past 300 and beyond, make sure to click the link in the description below. We have everything lined out, our systems, processes, and insights, all for you to apply in your business. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one.